Bienvenido, bienvenidos a un episodio más de GS. My guest thinks this is an English episode. I'm about to trick her. Este es un episodio en español. Se te acabó, amiga.
Ay,
Se te
señor.
acabó. You're gonna learn Spanish today.
English.
In honor of your ancestors y tu familia latina, we're gonna try to do this in Spanish. ¿Te animas?
Vamos a tratarlo, pero...
Mira, I'm not gonna lie, Thelma. She did a whole episode in Spanish. I'm not gonna lie. I was very impressed. Her Spanish was better than mine, and I've never heard her. I think she's from Nicaragua. I want to think she's Nicaraguense.
I think she is
I was,
too.
I was very impressed. But no, we're just kidding. My friend is Latina. She's about to introduce herself, but her Spanish is not there yet, just like my English. Oh, mosquito. Introduce yourself, my friend. And welcome to the Good Energy Squad.
Woo! Absolutely. My name is Yalani Castro. What is this, like dating? Do I have to say my age and like if I'm single and all that?
Si quieres. Si quieres.
I am 33 years old and, true millennial. And I am from Columbus, Georgia. Pero, as Pauline alluded to, I am Latina, but I'm Puerto Rican, but I was not born in Puerto Rico. I was born in Alaska. I'm an Army brat, so I lived all around the world, all around different places growing up. And I'm in the Army, and now I'm stationed here. And that's where I reconnected with my good friend Pauline, who I met in the Army many, many, many years ago.
Yeah, a long time ago. You all thought I've been lying about that serving. I did serve, not very, not very good. I served myself as a crazy person. I can't go into a lot of details, but Lonnie's gonna give you a few tips, not too much information. I hope, because my family's listening. They're metiches, sobre todo mis tías metiches. I know they're listening. They know I'm trouble. I don't care. They're gonna judge me regardless. But what's important here is what she said. So your birthday must be coming up.
It's in December.
Because when you send me your email, well, first of all, this freaking millennial has an AOL.
Listen, I hold on. If it works, I keep it. Okay?
¿Qué?
I'm a
Yo
true...
soy a Hotmail. I'm a 40-year-old younger than you. I've never had AOL, but I will say I think that's an American high school thing. That's when you got it, probably, right? Or elementary?
Yeah.
When you first introduce yourself to the computer. See, in Mexico, we didn't use AOL, and I went all the way to high school in Mexico. I didn't come to America until college. So it was hotmail.com.
Yeah, you're a true millennial if you remember the AOL chat room experience. If you know, you know.
Never used it in my life. But what is really funny is that you are Derek's year born, 1990.
Yes. I think he's a little bit older than me, though, right?
July.
Yeah.
July. He just turned 34 and you're 33. Jelani, you were saying Army brat. Can you please explain to the audience, most of the people that have, because we're going to listen in Spain and in Mexico, we have listeners that they don't know how the Army works and what that means. What is an Army brat?
So an Army brat just means that either you were born and raised, or some people spend, a little bit of their lives, not all of their lives, with a parent that's in the Army. So my dad was in the Army. He served for 21 years and he retired in 2007. So basically from the time that I was born to the time that he retired, basically I was living on Army bases and he was in the Army. So with that, you move around a lot. So you move around, every 2 to 3, maybe 4 years, depending on, where your parent gets stationed. So I was born in Alaska. After Alaska, we went to Fort Campbell, Kentucky. After that, we spent 4 years in Italy. From there, we came here to Fort Benning at the time. Then we went to Fort Drum, and then we came back to Fort Benning, and he retired from there.
And this is where you enlisted from?
Yep. And then I graduated high school from here. I went to college for a couple of years, and then that didn't work out because I was not doing well. And then,
Who does?
yeah,
I
and
dropped
then
like
I was
14.
like, I need to do something with my life, and so I went to the recruiter and I joined the army in 2011 is when I went off to basic.
Well, my question to you is, were you already knew you wanted to go join the army because you grew up in the army life, or you didn't want to follow your dad's steps?
I kept saying that I wasn't going to do it, but I didn't know what else to do. So it's kind of like I kept saying I wasn't going to do it. I was like, oh, I'm going to be a nurse, or I'm going to be a psychologist, or I'm going to be a vet. And then I actually ended up getting an Air Force scholarship. So I was going to be an officer in the Air Force. But again, when I went to school, I just wasn't focused. Like I was too young. All you want to do is not school. So at that point I was like, I don't feel like I'm ready to, spend money to go to college and still not know what I'm going to do. And so I left and I was like, I'm going to enlist in the army. But I didn't end up enlisting until like a year later because I was so scared. I was scared of the gas chamber. That was the number one thing that kept me from joining the army. I was like, I don't want to do the gas chamber.
Nobody told me about it. Obviously, I had no clue what the army was. I just joined because I was homeless. So I joined for different reasons. I didn't know what boot camp was. I didn't know about anything, and I definitely didn't know what to expect. But I still made the army as fun as possible, as you know. Um, so tell us a little bit about where we met. You did your by the time you yeah, I was already in the army because I went in 2010, so I was already stationed there, right? When we met, which was 2011.
Well, it was 2012, early, like January 2012.
Okay.
So I actually reported. Okay, I gotta have the disclaimer. Do you want me to tell the story?
Yes,
Okay.
meeting in the army when so you got to what you got to our unit. We're not gonna say names. We can't throw the unit so they don't know what we were doing. But yeah, you got to my unit where I was already stationed. I've already been there in Savannah. We can just say Savannah for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got there in January.
Yeah. So I got to Savannah in January and I started going to work, like regular army work. It was like I want to say my first month or so in the unit. It might have been weeks. Literally, it might have been weeks. And I remember going to PT and seeing Pauline, and she would say all kinds of crazy stuff in PT. And she seemed really fun. And one day she approached me and she said, "Oh, are you Latina?" And I was like, "Yeah, I am." And she asked me, "Oh, where are you going to get your hair done? Do you know who you're going to go to get your hair done?" And I was like, "No, not yet. Like, I haven't found a hairdresser." She's like, "Oh, I have a girl." So she made us appointments to go get our hair done. So that day that I was going to go to get my hair done with her, I was so excited. I had a new friend. I remember telling people at the time, like, "Oh, I'm so excited. I have a new friend. Like, we're going to go get our hair done." I was so, like,
Surprise!
so I went and picked up Pauline from
The
the
barracks.
barracks. Yeah, because she was living in the barracks at the time. And we were driving to the hair salon, and Pauline reaches into her bag and she pulls out some cocaine and proceeds to snort it in my car. And keep in mind, I'm new to the army. Like, I'm fully indoctrinated. I'm a little private. Like, this is my first experience in the real army. And I'm just like holding onto my steering wheel, like, oh my
Have
God.
you have you ever, this is a real question, seen cocaine before that?
No, I've never seen it. I've never done
Not
it.
here in Columbus.
No, I promise. I was kind of sheltered. Not too sheltered, but kind of sheltered. And I'm just like, eyes wide open, like, what is going on? And Pauline looks at me, she goes, "Oh, yeah, I just like to do a little bump every now and then." And I'm like, what?
That's it.
Just a little bump. And we go to the hair salon, and yeah, we got our hair done. And that was my first introduction to Pauline.
Oh, tell them how I paid the lady. Apparently, I don't remember this lady or anything, by the way, because I was a heavy alcoholic and still abusing drugs in the
Yeah.
army.
So Pauline paid for her hair in pills. in narcotics pills.
From the military.
Yeah,
Let's be clear.
yeah.
Because they're free. I mean, I had to get some out of some stuff. Now, I have another question because January 2012, I was definitely dating Derek. But I'm sure you've heard of me also and my ex, the first sergeant. He
So
was
I actually didn't know that until you told me here. I was just sheltered because I never heard rumors or anything like that.
No, that's because I was with Derek since 2011, November.
Oh,
Like
okay.
we started talking, so obviously that happened way before. Like I said, I started in 2010, so I had already almost a little bit over a year there in Savannah. And clearly, I mean, here's the thing, everyone. If you're still on the party scene, army, outside the army, you're gonna find people. How many people did you not know that were actually doing drugs and in active duty?
Yeah,
And
and
no,
in that
still,
unit too, there was other people who, ended up not going, or no, no, no. There were other people who ended up like not going on the deployment, things like that, because they ended up, you know, drugs
yeah,
and things like that. So it was, yeah,
yeah,
it was actually very
everybody was
common.
abusing. And on my defense is not an excuse, but I already come from past the drug addiction. Obviously, I'm not gonna say no. And then I was an alcoholic. Now I'll tell the story. When did even though you met me like that and we did that, you still hang out with me and went to the club.
Yeah.
She clearly was not terrified because I end up taking her, and we're gonna post the photos for this episode. She went to the club where I was still VIP. I knew the owners. I knew we had a table. She was how old were you, by the way?
So I was newly 21. Newly.
That I
But
think I took you. Oh yeah.
because so it was like we had a schedule. So we would get off of work on Friday. We would go buy new outfits specifically for the
Mhm.
club the next night. Every Friday. Like, who are we? We're buying new outfits every Friday. Like,
And the mall was right there in the corner,
yes,
out
it
of the
was.
gate, out of the barracks.
Yep.
And I remember a friend, I'm not saying name, the blonde one with glasses, curly hair. She also went to the club, and I remember one that I was dating Derek, but he was always deployed.
Yep.
So we were always having girls' night, and it
Yeah.
was just girls' night because really, I don't even remember you even having hooking us up. Like we never hooked up and went anywhere after the club. We would just go to drink,
And get
and by drink
pizza.
I mean and eat pizza in the corner. And
Yeah.
again, it's not an excuse, guys, but Savannah, even after I got married and got out of the army, I continued partying and drinking. That town, I don't know how long were you stationed in Savannah?
I was there from 2012 to 2015.
Wow. But you were deployed with
Yeah.
my friend.
I
You guys
deployed.
deployed, I got out. I never heard from y'all. I didn't even keep in touch with my friend because she also got married and then got pregnant and then got out. And then she came here. And I actually saw her here when I moved. And then she went to Seattle, wherever the other Ranger unit is.
Yeah.
But
I feel like the group split between like who went on the deployment and who didn't go
who
on the
didn't?
deployment.
Exactly. Because we were so close. The barracks girl, we had that little group. We did Halloween together. We did Thursday night. We had salsa. We did the what is the St. Patrick's parade. We marched and we were drinking. It was it felt like college. And you were at that age. I was 27, 26, because I got married at 27. So I was 26 when you met me on that 2012 January. I was 26 years old. So I was still pretty young. And it was so much fun because Savannah's like Vegas. I don't think people understand. It's still Vegas. And everybody's partying, everybody's doing drugs.
Yeah.
They were doing bath salts, remember?
Yeah, that was a big thing back then
That was
too.
huge. And then I had pills that were like cocaine too. They were make you like wired. I don't even know. I'm telling you, you can find trouble wherever you go. I am an expert on
Yeah.
that. I'm just glad that Lani hang out with me and went to the club. She clearly was not scared by that first impression, my friend, at all. So we separated, but the most you and I were talking the other day, and Lani, as she said, yeah, it's okay. Is it still recording?
It is now.
Oh, okay. Good. What should I do? Nothing. You're recording now.
Yeah, I
Okay.
put it on Do Not Disturb, but sometimes people will call me twice to bypass my Do Not Disturb.
Of course they do, because she's so important now. Let me tell you all how proud I am of you. I would say this, incredibly proud, even though I started you on the wrong foot. But actually, I never offered you. Did I ever offer you drugs?
No, you didn't.
I didn't do it with my best friend. I think that that is a personal choice. And maybe even if you would have asked me or any close friend, I would say no. Why? Because I know where it has led me. At Derek, I think one time was wasted in Mexico, drank with my family for 3 days straight, and
Yeah.
I was consuming with my cousin. Then I'm not gonna say names. He's like, "Give me a little bit." I said, "I'm not gonna ruin your life. I ruined mine. I did not like it. It's not something that I want to initiate anybody on.
Yeah.
You know, I lived it. I make my own mistakes, and I think everybody should do their own mistakes. If you have a friend that offers you drugs or forces you to do drugs, that's not a friend.
Yeah. You never offered.
I'm just
Never.
no, and don't offer it. And this is for anybody wanting there. You can let everybody destroy their own lives and still be in their lives, because I still had you around. I still had Christina, and she saw me. She said it on the episode. She saw me very, very, very wired and about to right before I went to rehab, and she still sticked around, but I never involved her on that.
Yeah.
That's be careful with those friendships. You also, if you're listening to this, that's no bueno. Everybody's an adult. We were already adults. And again, you made that big decision very young to join. Derek joined since he was 17 too. Respect. And he's never tried any of that. Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm the loca. But because those your parents, and I finally got to meet them at your ceremony.
Yes.
Big shout out. My girl is a big dog. She's a dog soldier. This dog's face soldier. I forgot that song completely. It's gone. I use drugs to forget about it after I get out. From done. I literally had a drink every day not to remember that song, probably since I got out. But both of your parents, I finally met them, and what is the first thing I told them? ¿Por qué no le enseñaron español?
Yep.
They
The
speak
big
it.
question.
Do they speak it
So
fluent?
yeah, so both of my parents both speak fluent Spanish. Both of them do. My dad is like from Puerto Rico, born and raised in Puerto Rico. He moved to the Bronx, New York when he was 12, where my mom was born and raised. So my mom was born and raised in the Bronx. And they both speak fluent Spanish. And they made the decision to not teach me or my brothers. So I grew up not speaking any Spanish. None. Zero. I couldn't even tell you, like, I don't know, like, yo no sé cómo hablar en español. I couldn't say that, right? Um
Mm.
so that was always a big thing for me, like growing up, whenever I would interact with other Latinos, cuz I mean, you look at me, people generally will ask me like, "Oh, are you Latino, right?" Um, and then they ask the second question is, "Oh, do you speak Spanish?" And I would say no, and the first thing they would say is like, "Oh, you're not a real Puerto Rican. You're not a real Latina because you don't speak Spanish." And honestly, like growing up, that was a huge. I didn't realize how big of a complex it gave me until I was presented with the like it really impacted a lot of decisions I made in my life as far as like romantic relationships, because I always felt like I was compensating for that lack of of
Latino.
yeah, like I was trying to make up for something. Like if I, was with the right person or married the right person, somehow it was going to make, the connection to my culture stronger. When, my culture is my own, right? Like I have different cultures, and now I'm kind of the
You're
mindset where,
mixed.
yeah, like, I'm army culture. I'm army brat culture. I'm, Puerto Rican culture. I'm, soldier culture. There's so many different cultures that like make up a person. But like for so long, I was so insecure about that one piece of my culture that I just like didn't feel close to because, of this big thing. And honestly, now looking back, it's like, why did that even matter? And at the end of the day, it's like who accepts me, like they're gonna be there for me, and then who doesn't, like they're not gonna be there for me. That's it. But yeah, I've been told that I'm not a real Puerto Rican. I've been called a coconut. Yeah, because I'm brown on the outside or white on the inside. Yeah, just like really hurtful things. And honestly, it's like, who died and made you the king or queen of Puerto Rico? Like, I don't know.
Right.
You're asking me this question in the United States. Like,
Do we live in Puerto Rico? Are we in Puerto Rico right now? No.
I wish.
I did go. I did have a good time there too.
Yeah. So yeah, just it's it's interesting how big of an impact it had on my life. I did end up learning, I'll say I'm at like a 70% when it comes to Spanish, so much so that I get paid for it now. But I thought that was somehow going to like make it better. I'm like, it didn't. It didn't make it
Well, I
better.
would talk to you in Spanish. That's what you said. Always treated you as you were Latino and brought you around other Latinos. We had a Latino group in the army.
Yeah. There's always like a little mafia or whatever in the army, but I never felt included in it, honestly. I never have, because they're so like judgmental about not speaking Spanish. And then also we just have different experiences, right? Like, again, I'm an army brat. I grew up on army bases where there's a lot of diversity, because there's a lot of diversity in the army. And so, I've never been just one to hang out with like one certain kind of people. I love hanging out with Latinas because, I just think our cultures are very rich, but that doesn't mean that like that's the only group I'm going to hang out with.
Right. You love fucking Latinos, though. We'll say that. And let me tell you, I don't fuck my own kind. I gave up on Mexicans and Latinos since high school. I knew better.
I should have.
I knew better not to fuck my own kind. So I am 100% white Mexican. And as much fun as I make, you were saying, out of everyone, who made you feel included?
Yeah. Like when you met me, you weren't like, you said, "Oh, you're Latina." I said, "Yes." You weren't like, "Oh, you're not Latina enough because you don't speak Spanish," or like, "Oh, you were not from Puerto Rico. You're not Latina enough." You literally were just like, "You're Latina." I said, "Yes." You said, "Okay, sounds good. Do you have somebody to do your hair?"
Vámonos,
Yeah.
la bandera. And also, you told me your age. Like, here's the thing. What bothers me is the people my age, like Christina. I want to choke her. You're 40. You're at a 70% Spanish. That is huge, Lonnie, for someone that has been around parents and family members that only spoke English. My best friend grew up in a Mexican household with a Mexican dad, with a Mexican grandma that only speaks Spanish. They came here with no knowledge, no degree, did tamales, selling, and you're telling me you don't fucking speak the Spanish? Now that I have a fucking problem. You're in a border. She's also in a border. You're living in a border. Like, I came not knowing English, and I don't know how Derek dated me because he was white as fucking white. Derek is the fucking white cheese. He's a Mennonite. He's literally from Minnesota. You remember his skinny ass and his glasses?
Yeah.
Like a motherfucking nerd. I saved him by giving him like PRK. We both got PRK at the same time. But mine is back and I'm blind as fuck. I ended up with a white guy that speaks zero Spanish, and it elevated my English. And I feel like that's why you were dating. Now this all makes sense. I fuck white guys to learn English, and you fuck Latinos to learn Spanish. Interesting. And you know what's funny? 12 years and a half married, and Derek has not learned Spanish, or he says. But I don't talk to him in Spanish either. It
Yeah.
would have been interesting if we had kids. And I wonder, and this is just me wondering, I don't wish this, if you, um, again, I don't know if you want to talk about your relationships, but in your previous relationships, um, the serious ones, if you ever had kids with, because your ex spoke Spanish, right?
Hmm.
100%.
Yeah, both
Would
of
have
them did.
you would have you want him to learn to give your kids Spanish lessons? Like you would have
Yes.
want your kids now moving forward, you want your future kids to learn Spanish?
Yeah, and I think that's kind of one of the like things that pushes me to keep bettering my Spanish, is because like I don't want the same
Project.
thing to happen to me to happen to my kids. And so I was very like enthusiastic about learning Spanish. I started originally saying I'm going to learn Spanish when I was stationed in Miami, And in Miami, everybody speaks Spanish. Nobody speaks English. And I would be in Walmart, and I'm like, oh, hey, excuse me, can you help me find this? And they're like, yo no
Nobody
hablo
speaks it.
inglés. And I'm like, we're just looking
No
at each other
one.
like, we can't
Cubans.
communicate. So
You're in Cuba.
yeah, basically, like, so after that, I was like, I got to start learning Spanish. And so I paid out of pocket for my own
Wow.
Spanish classes. And, I picked up
See?
basic Spanish easy because, of course, I'm surrounded by it. And then, I just kept going. Like, I just kept, taking classes. And then when I came here to the unit that I'm currently in, they paid for Spanish classes. And of course, I go to South America. And so I was immersed. And so through that, I started just bettering my Spanish. And so now, like I said, 70%. So if I have a kid one day, then me and the kid are both going to be learning Spanish at the
That's
same time.
good. I did want my kids to speak Spanish too, so we can talk shit about Derek behind his back. That was my main goal, teach the kids how to speak Spanish, and they never understand it. It doesn't bother me, people your age and anybody younger than me, because sadly, when you grow up, when you're born in the United States, and I was born in Texas, but I was raised in Mexico. I was just born. I feel like my mom was at the Dollar Tree, and I came out. And nobody knows how it happened. My parents died, so I can't ask why. Out of five siblings, just me and my entire 54 cousins, I'm the only American. I think one more. My tia had one kid in America, and she lives in El Paso. Out of 54, so I'm first generation Mexican in America.
Yeah.
And born here, but never raised, never nothing. And it bothers me when I see people that came, one, mojados. They came here, they struggle, they worked and got their papers now or whatever. So they don't, their first language is Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
From the get-go, right? You came here as an immigrant, you came here to work and learn, you had to hustle. And now all of a sudden, you're American? I'm not saying I'm not, because I was born here and I joined the army to serve the US. Obviously, I was really excited, and American, Mexican American, I'm both. But you can't forget your roots. You can't forget where you come from. If you can speak the Spanish, why are we acting white?
Yeah.
Now, you have people like you that I respect so much, because as white as you were raised, because I'm just going to say it like you say, grew up in English household, you're trying so hard to embrace your Latino roots and learn. But the ones that you have that act like they forgot they were Latinos, and for a fact they got the nopal in the head and they speak Spanish fluently, but now they forgot. That's the only type of Latinos that I get upset. Or like when I went to the Hispanic thing,
Yeah.
we were at the Tri City Latino Festival. Todo el tiempo. What were they talking in that stage?
Oh,
Que no se
yeah.
callaban. Inglés.
Yeah.
It's the Latino festival. These people are senior citizens. I don't get it. They should have put the music, the salsa, la España, algo to get us to dance.
Yeah.
I just want them. I just wish it was more embrace like Miami. In
Oh, yeah.
Miami, they don't care if you don't speak Spanish. They won't talk to you in English. They don't even effort. They don't even try. You either adapt with the Latino culture or te jodes.
It's everywhere too. It honestly made it's so funny because I didn't realize, I don't know, I feel like in life you have like these different identity cultures, like or identity crises. So when I first like started joining the army and I saw like these Latino mafias and I wasn't Latino enough to be in the mafia, it's like, okay, I'm too white to be there, right? And then I go to Miami where everybody's Latina and it's like, damn, like I'm too white to fit in here too, you know what I mean? And so it's just like it's interesting because in some spaces I feel like I'm too Latina to fit in, but in other spaces I feel like I'm too white, like white to fit in, or American, I should say, not just white, but like I don't know, it's interesting to me. Yeah,
At the end of the day, I think you just need to be yourself without faking it. That's what I like that about you and me, because I would try to speak English even if I don't know it, just to get along. And I'm thinking right now of who, my friend with the perfect ass. You introduced me to her. You're like, that's, I'm not gonna say names, but you're into That ass. I wonder how she's doing in Miami because she's whiter than white. Doesn't speak Spanish. She's stationed in Miami. I mean, what? Now, remind me real quick. Where did we see each other again? Was it online?
It was
How
on
did?
social media. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
You like popped up on my social media and I was like, is that Pauline? And
Was
then
it
I
on
went to,
Pauline? Was I had just moved here 2019? Was it before COVID or after COVID?
it was after COVID because I moved here in 2020.
So was I going to Max Fitness
Yep, you were.
with Alondra?
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
And that's how, like, I saw you online and I was like, is that Pauline? And then we started talking. And I remember you told me, you were like, oh, yeah, I'm sober. And I was like, that's so amazing. Because, like, when I last saw you, you were not sober. So, like,
Not at all. I
it
was in
was,
my worst fit. I did get married uh, right after you deployed. So you deployed and we lost connection because you know why? I deleted my Facebook because of my
oh,
suegra.
yes.
That's what it was. We were connected through Facebook. Instagram did not exist. I
No.
didn't have Instagram. So, and I never, for the record, ever came back on Facebook since I got married to Derek. Porque mi suegra está loca. Esa señora me saca ganas. Está loca. She will comment. You can ask Yalani. I've always had tons of guy friends and girlfriends. I see everybody and treat everybody the same.
She's a
Now,
social butterfly.
I'm a social butterfly, and if you're hot, I'll of course we're gonna be friends. I'm just saying. I'm not. I mean, who the fuck wants ugly friends? Now let me go pick the ugliest person, and I mean, I'm just saying. It's the thing, right? Like, it's not my fault that absolutely everybody that I know is hot, even in the army. There's hot friends. And they were like, I was hanging out with big rank people because we were closer to age. Don't think I was fucking a first sergeant and he was 50 and I was 27. No, I was 26. They were 30. Like, look at Jelani. She made first sergeant at 33. That's the guys. They are about that age, right? 30,
Mm-hmm.
32, 33. They're pretty young. And so the rank don't matter. I wanted to fuck the sergeant major. Woo! He was fine, wasn't he?
He
To me, he
was
was.
mean, though.
I love that. I just saw that rank. I was like, oh my goodness. Yes, yes, Sergeant Major Poppy, yell at me. Like he was something else. This, and I bet he was barely what 40.
Yeah, he
40
was
something.
young. He looked young.
Thank you. So don't attack me. Uh, because I had a lot of guy friends and I was always at the club and Derry was always deployed. There goes my second eye. Why don't you wear your ring? It's getting resized. And I don't, Derry doesn't wear his. I don't wear mine. I couldn't keep up. So I deleted it. Then partied in Savannah until 2017. And right before we moved here is when I became sober, actually, because not only was the alcohol put in my life like this after my thyroid, but it was putting a strain on everything. Because once you're an alcoholic, not only was a drug addict that done that, I became a mega alcoholic to the point that I wasn't getting drunk. It's not fun. I was like, what the hell do I do now? And I was just got really out of shape. And when you met me, I was telling a question I want to say because by the way, she's super fit. She lifts really heavy. She lifted her full deployment in South America. I was looking at all your PRs and couldn't believe how heavy you were lifting when you were there. Insane. What was the most you did deploy?
My best squat has been 305. My best deadlift has been 295, and my best bench has been 165, I think. Maybe.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never went to the gym. You saw me. I never exercised. I didn't even know what a gym was.
Yeah.
Were you always this fit? When did you pick up the gym?
So I was it's a funny story actually. I was a drill sergeant from
I
2015.
still don't believe that. We're gonna need those
2015.
photos, by the way,
Yeah.
to promote this episode.
From 2015 to 2017, I was a drill sergeant. And, a lot of people think that when you're a drill sergeant that, you're super in shape. And, a lot of people probably are. I'm going to be honest. Maybe a lot of people are taking more seriously than I. Sorry about my dog, by the way. He's all over me. But anytime I'm on the phone, he just wants to be around. So, maybe it was just me because I was single, so like, I don't have anybody at home like helping me cook or whatever. Like I have a lot of stuff to do. Anyways, so while I was a drill sergeant, I'm gonna be honest, I let my fitness go, right? So I was not working out at all. Like I was too tired. And to be honest, when you're with the soldiers, like they're not doing that much anyways. And most of the time you're just supervising them to make sure that they don't get injured. And I let myself go. So much so that we had a ball and I went to put my dress pants on and those pants didn't fit. And I was like, oh my God, it's like it snuck up on me. I didn't even think about it,
That's the
like,
worst feeling.
yeah, you're not sleeping a lot because, you're constantly up with the soldiers. You're eating
Oh,
very badly because the only thing that you can get quick is like fast food.
DFAC.
Yeah.
DFAC food. Yeah, or
Not even
DFAC
you have
food.
to pay, like, we had to pay for the DFAC. I mean, sometimes I did eat at the
What?
DFAC. Yeah. Sometimes I did eat at the DFAC, but when we went out to the range and stuff, like, people were bringing out Burger King, pizza, all the bad stuff. And yeah, I just let myself go. And so at that moment, after that incident with the pants, I was like, that's it. I made it like mandatory before I could go home. It didn't matter what time of the night I got off of work. I had to go to Planet Fitness before I went home. And so I started doing, like, I think it was like bodybuilding.com. Used to have like an app that had little workouts. And I would just do those little I didn't know anything about working out. So I would just do those workouts. And I ended up losing like 10 pounds just that first like cycle. And then
Wow.
after that, I was on it. I was like, okay, I'm doing this. And so I ended up moving to Miami. And when I moved to Miami, I ended up meeting actually a guy named Frank Same. He is a bodybuilder who lived like bodybuilded in Miami. And he worked at the gym at the base in Miami. And he in the mornings would do like functional fitness classes. So I would go every morning to these classes and do that. And that's how I learned how to start lifting. He's the one who taught me how to like lift like weight. And then after that, the rest is history. It became, a part of my life. And even now, like, there will be sometimes days or maybe a week will go by or whatever have going on. Like life gets in the way. But still, like, even if life gets in the way, I'm back in the gym at some point doing some kind of physical activity because now it's just become,
Running.
I hate running, but I have to run. Yeah. So,
Mhm.
but, yeah, now it's just a part of, it's a part of my life. Like I have to be doing some kind of physical activity. I can't just do nothing anymore. I don't even know what that's like anymore.
Right. And you're a leader now, so you have a lot of people that look up to you. You gotta stand out, you know?
Yeah.
The position that you are, you have to outdo your soldiers at this point. It's either running and then maybe lifting or doing a push up, doing a pull up. You kind of have to do these things work because of your job.
Yeah.
I never took that serious, obviously, in the army or any because I had a desk job. I've been in this corporate job for 12 years. If it wasn't because I got overweight and sick and I was in a very depressive state, you can see it on my face on those photos from 2017 that I said, I'm going to go to Planet Fitness. I started just like you. I just showed up to Planet Fitness every day. I will work in the call center, taking customer service calls in Spanish and English while my husband was gone from 8 to 8. So I was taking California calls so I could work from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 12 hours a day. And I will get out and go to Planet Fitness with the girls from the call center. And I was lifting bad and everything over there in Savannah. And then I realized, I'm going to quit drinking for 30 days. And then when I saw all the weight I lost, I never drank again. I was just going to quit drinking for 30 days.
Yeah.
And I made it until now. That's crazy.
Yeah.
How time flies. 7 years later, anniversary. I didn't even have to draw. And I kept going to the gym. It's so crazy how you become addicted, right? Once you see
Yeah.
a little bit of results.
It becomes a way of life, honestly. Like it really is.
A
Like
rope.
yeah, it's something that I just value now. Like I don't know how to describe it. It makes me feel good when I go in and get it done. Sometimes I don't want to go. I'm gonna be honest. Sometimes, again, there'll be days or weeks where I'm like,
Yeah.
fall off, but I always get back on, honestly. Like,
I
always go
didn't get
back.
up today. I didn't get up all week. I didn't get up all week, and I forced myself to do something in the afternoon. I said, I know movement is medicine. It's the model for my physical therapist. It's not a sponsor episode yet. Eric, you should. This is for you. Sponsor an episode. I need him to needle my back. I need to take you there too. We need to go on an appointment. But it really makes you a better person, I feel, and like a better everything all around with your life. And I'm very proud of you, because even though you don't have time to meal prep, you're still trying to keep up, which is the hardest part, the cooking.
Yeah, I just buy my
Yes
meal
or no?
prep. I was talking
It's
to Pauline
impossible,
about
and it
this
has.
last week. I was like, listen, I will pay for convenience. I don't have time, I'll buy it. I don't care.
I have a man. I have a man that I have to feed every fucking day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm really Mexican. This is what I hate being a Latina. Why, Grandma? Why did you make me this way? I don't want to be the old school ways, but that's why they marry us Latinas, so we take care of this man.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, and I'm going to touch a topic that it's up to you what you want to discuss. Part of the GES squad, part of this podcast, part of the reason why I started is because of this, because I want people to know that this Pauline that they see now, happy, healthy, thriving, excited to live, is not the Pauline that you met. It's not the Pauline that Derek met. It's not the same Pauline from 12 years ago. 12 fucking years ago, Lonnie. Think seriously. It was 2012. 12 years ago that I met you. Look at us now, how far we've become. So people need to understand that to get, and I'm not even, I don't feel like at my end or where I want to be yet, but there has to be some challenges. So over this past 12 years, GS is all about resilience. What has been the most difficult challenges that you face during this whole time since I've met you? What do you think is what made you or break you to this point?
Yeah, I think for me personally, like, I mean, I've had a lot of failures. A lot of people know about a lot of my failures, like, even personally and professionally. Actually, I didn't have my first like true failure professionally until last year. I won't go into too many details, but Pauline knows that I tried to do something to change my career, and unfortunately, it didn't work out. And that was such a big moment for me. Just, it was the first time I'd ever failed anything in my career. I have tried my best to, do everything that I'm supposed to do when I'm supposed to do it in the Army. And, I feel like I've been successful in everything that I've tried to do. And this was the first time that I tried to do something and it just didn't work out. And that was really mind blowing for me, honestly, because again, it was the first time in my military career that I had failed something like so significantly that it, it almost, I wouldn't say it almost broke me, because I think while it was happening, I realized that like it wasn't meant for me. And so that's kind of like what I want to say is kind of like what helped me go get through my failures, is that it took me a long time to realize this, but when something is not for you, it will be revealed. Like, whether you realize it or not, it's going to show you like if it's meant for you or not. And with relationships too, right? Like, you think somebody is meant for you, or you're trying to be in a, romantic relationship with somebody. And like at a certain point, you're going to know like that it's not for you. You'll feel it. Your body will literally tell you when something is not for you. Yeah. And, you know, this failure that I had professionally showed me so much. It showed me that, right? That path was not meant for me, that I am on the path that I'm meant to be on. And it also showed me who is going to show up for me in my darkest moments. It reflected so much just about my personal life as well. Like, people, who's going to show up for you, like when stuff gets hard, like when you are really, really down and you need a support system, like who is going to show up for you? And a lot of people, when that failure happened, like, I don't know, maybe people judged me, I don't know, maybe people didn't want to show up for me the way that I needed them to. But I'll tell you, my true friends, all of them said the same thing. hey, you know what? You're successful. Like your career, you are so great at your career. You know, you're on the path you're meant to be. And that's literally what you told me, Pauline. You were like, literally, I told you what happened. You said, "Fuck that. You're good. Keep it moving." And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
And, and I mean, let's be honest. I don't like that. I don't like officers at all. So I'm an enlisted home. My husband is. I respect my enlisted personnel.
Yeah.
You are not. I told you, you're not a paperwork pusher. I remember I told you that. Why do you want to go push paperwork? You belong yelling. You belong mentoring. Enlisted people do so much. I don't think people understand, and not because I fucked the first sergeant, not that first sergeant, but other leaders like my staff sergeants that I had that was really close to me. In those 2 years, they taught me things that I didn't learn my whole life because I didn't grow up without a mom. The job that a NCO has, and as a leader in the enlisted world, is like a parent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even kidding. So why would you even try to go with someone that you can't even, they're on another level. You can't even disrespect them. That's another type of. It's hard to explain. I think the only captain and respect that starts with a D, and she was married with the Ranger. She was the only cool person.
Yeah.
Remember her?
Yeah.
She was also a pilot. Coolest. That was goals. She
Yeah.
was so humble, and she was down to earth, and she would talk to us peasants, which is enlisted. That was not for you. And not only that, as successful you've been your entire career and how you put yourself, sometimes you have to be in that high pedestal and fall to find your true self.
Yeah.
I've been up there so many times and fallen, so many times and fallen, and every time that's exactly what it teaches you: who's around you, who's going to love you for who you are, not for what you become. Like, I don't want to have friends that are only gonna be my friends when I'm successful and rich. When I'm
Exactly.
checking the box more. Then I
Friends,
volunteer.
relationships.
Tell everybody. My husband laughed for hours, Jelani. I said, I'm getting up on Saturday. I'm gonna help Jelani. We're gonna go running. I'm gonna make it. Remember the
Yep.
second run? I volunteer as a tribute to the Hunger Games to help my girl.
And she said she's never
That's
running.
I never run. I even said, fuck, if you really want to do this, I'll sign up as a fucking volunteer, like a guinea pig. Whatever I gotta do to help you, because here you go again to do the same pendejada for the
Yeah.
second time. She didn't
With
learn the first time.
we've kind of talked about too, like you mentioned the checklist thing. I feel like I've learned this too with like romantic relationships, friendships.
Mm-hmm.
Some people only want you because you check off like certain boxes for them.
Boxes,
Yeah,
fuck them.
like, oh, I like her because she's successful. I like her because she's gonna be this. I like her because
She
she
has her
has
own
this.
money.
Yeah, and it's like,
She has her own place.
yeah, you don't like me for me. You just like what I represent for you. You like that, I provide you a boost in status or a boost in appearance, but you don't actually know me or like me for me, right? Like, how do you know if you really know somebody, right? Like, their
They
failures,
don't know you until
successes,
you're failing.
fears. Yeah, like
Until
favorite.
you fuck up. That's when I knew my husband was for me, because he was there on my worst fuck up moment when I got bye-byes. He stood up with me, knowing exactly what I just did. This motherfucker still married me. Anybody would have told her, everybody told, whatever you said it, they're not going to last.
Yep.
Everybody said, she's too crazy. She's too, I'm still am. I don't need to do drugs and alcohol.
Exactly. This is just who you are as a person.
People understand this. My husband,
Newsflash, it's not the drugs, guys.
not the drugs, me, the alcohol. But that's when you know who is with you because of the right reasons. I didn't care if you lifted. I was just happy to see you. That's my buddy from basic training. I didn't care your rank, what you were doing. You were showing me all this drill sergeant stuff. You could have told me you were a drug addict, homeless, and I would have been like, "That's my army friend. Let's go. Let's get a workout. I'll drop you off in the homeless later or at the shelter." They don't matter. I hate when people label you for what you have. And what happens when you don't have that? What happens when it gets ugly? When you get a divorce? These are the things that people need to understand. A lot of people are stuck in miserable relationships and friendships because they are pretending to fit in.
Yeah.
What would you say to those people that are forcing marriages, forcing the things they don't like to do just to be included or be selective or be elite?
That when you don't show up as like your authentic self will just disappear. Like you'll just become a shell. It's going to get eaten away. Every time that you self-sacrifice to like prove yourself to be somebody that you're not, or like if you're afraid to show somebody like who you really are, a person who makes mistakes, who fails, every time you do that, like you're just eating away at yourself piece by piece until there's not going to be anything left, honestly. And then you're going to have to rebuild once you figure it out, because it's never going to get better. So you're going to figure it out one day, and you're going to look at yourself and you're going to say, you're not going to recognize who you are anymore. And then you're going to have to build it back up piece by piece.
Yeah, and like pretending that some just to you even change your whole personality to fit in with that people. And if you had to change who you are for your romantic relationship or a friend, you have to be, oh, I know I got to do drugs around Pauline because that's what she likes doing. No, that's not how it is. I will like you either way. If you try drugs or never done drugs, if you have a job or don't have a job, because I know better than nobody, 40 years, life is a roller coaster, and a lot of people think that this has to be a straight line, and they hide a lot of stuff under the rug.
Yeah.
Y más en Latinos family. Admit it.
Yeah. We've
We
talked
grew
about
up
that too.
we grew up in a place where you have to be by the book, get married, have kids, and then you have that pressure. Divorce is not good for you.
Yeah.
You gotta suck it up. Si te pegan. Were we not discussing that you see it? Do you see it a lot in the military marriages that are just
Toxic.
Mhm.
Toxic. Yes. Definitely.
Like they put up with so much, and a lot of them is because they have nothing to do of their own.
Yeah. Because they don't have a way out.
They do, but everybody has a way out. Nobody
That's
has a
true.
gun to your head. Think
That's
about it. You can work at a McDonald's. I started in a call center making $11 an hour at the job that I am. That's how much they pay me because I promised Eric I was going to help him pay the bills on the house that he just built me in Savannah. It was a beautiful, huge home. I wish you even went to see it.
yeah.
Very sad that I sold it, but see, I'm still, without that, I'm still me. It's just trying. You can escape. You can escape your body fitness. You said it. That was very brave of you when you admitted that you put those class A's, and those uniforms are so expensive.
Yeah,
So
they are. I didn't want to buy new pants.
you did
I
not
couldn't buy
want
new
to
pants.
do. They
I
forced
gotta
you to
lose
lose weight.
weight. I can't buy
I
new
got my
pants.
friend. She knows who it is. Miss PBO. She's the same. The second those tight Miss Little Warrant Officer feels tight on that brown shit new uniform, she starts dieting. I can't
Yeah.
look at my classic. Oh man, we were just at Koreana yesterday. We're fit now. Oh, okay. That keeps that lady in check.
Yeah. I'm not buying
I
new
might need to go
pants.
buy me one. I might need to go realist.
That's the new waist beads. It's like the
This
waist beads. The ASU pants are the waist beads.
That should be the new. We should take it to the bodybuilding shows.
Yeah.
Tell these bitches you need to stop bulking. What do you think your biggest growth has been? Your biggest growth since we met, since we were 2012 until now,
Like personally or professionally?
personally, because professionally you're killing it. One door closed and a bigger one open, my friend.
Yeah, I think, we've talked about it. Just personally, it's realizing like not to give up who I am for other people, honestly. Like I've went through some things in the last year or so, as we've kind of been alluding to. And, now, right now, I'm kind of spending time like by myself and getting to do the things that like I want to do again when I want to do them with who I want to do them with. Um, you know, in the past, I probably would have like put those things that I'm wanting to do to the side to wait for a phone call. Sorry, to wait for a phone call, or, you know, to wait for somebody's availability. And now I don't do that anymore. I just put myself first, and it's stop.
My
And
nephew.
and yeah, it feels really refreshing. It feels good to just make choices for myself again, not, you know, depending on somebody else.
I think that is the biggest message of this episode, and I repeat it myself over and over, and I need to start recording myself. When people understand that Pauline's responsibility every day is to please Pauline, Jelani has to please Jelani.
Yep.
It's your responsibility as individuals and humans to make yourself happy, not other people happy.
Yeah.
When you're happy, everybody around you will be happy. So
And
instead of
nobody's going to do
waking
that
up,
for you. Like, nobody's going to
yes,
bring happiness to you. You have to create it yourself.
nobody's gonna do the work. I should not be eating the chips, so I know better. I'm gonna feel my stomach's gonna hurt later, but I don't care. I know the consequences of my actions, but I'm an adult, right? But you have to do it. Do the things for you. Traveling. You love traveling. I love traveling. I don't force Derek to go. It's like, and a lot of people see that wild or judge me. Why? Why
Yeah.
am I gonna stop living my life? I'm spending my life with him. We chose to live a life together, but I'm not gonna force the guy to go. Did that make your marriage better? Better? You're traveling? I'm just asking a real question.
Um, yeah, I mean, I I haven't really, I'll be honest, like, again, I put a lot of things that I wanted like to the side, right? So like
That's what I'm
there's
saying.
things that I wanted to do, and I sacrificed those things to do, you know, what another person wanted to do. And even though they didn't ask me to do that, I still did it because I felt that I should do it, right? Where
Right.
now like I'm not going to sacrifice like what I want to do, you know, for whatever somebody else wants to do. This is what I want to do. If you want to join me, then you can. But if not, I'm still going to do what I want to do. Because again, like I put too many things that like I wanted to the side to please other people, and not just in, you know, relationships, like friendships too. I'm constantly
People
people
pleasing.
pleasing. Yeah,
Oh,
people
it's the
pleasing.
worst.
Yeah.
And it never ends. And the only one that does not please is you. And I'm a selfish person, but I need to make sure I'm okay before I take care of everybody else. I'm not saying I'm not gonna take care of Derek. I still feed him and take care of him because that's my job.
Hmm.
I'm happy to do so. But guess what? I need to be in the mood too. Not always it's gonna be okay. And it's okay because we had to put ourselves first. And people call it selfish. It's not.
Well, I think it's cultural too, right? Because like in the Latino culture, like women are constantly told like you have to do
Suck
everything
it
for
up.
your family. Like no matter what, family comes first. No matter what, blood over everything, you know? And it does create this very people pleasing mentality because it's like I got to do all this stuff for my, you know, my
My family.
community.
Specifically my primos. Carlos, I hate you. He knows it.
Yeah.
Why? Why are we engraved with these things? I don't understand. Why are we tortured? And honestly, you grew up in Columbus, and it also makes sense because. And again, I love this little town. Believe it or not, I really want us to find land in the outskirts here for my forever home. I'm very excited. That's what I want to do next year, other than growing GS movement.
Yeah.
But the Southern way, now that I've been to Georgia, Peach, you can tell because I've been in Georgia since 2011, it's also very fake. Southern people are I mean, church, Easter, eh, and next thing you know, woof, under the rug. And I'm not throwing anybody under the bus. You know who you are. You're just hiding everything under the rug until when that rug is gonna get full and it's gonna explode in your motherfucking face. It
Yeah.
it is very sad. It is a southern way. I feel like very Latino. Maybe that's why we fit in so good. It's just they have those same
Yeah.
um
It's very
yeah.
traditional. It's just a traditional mentality.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
And I think we need to break all of those beliefs of
Yeah.
whatever it is, and also find people that tell you how it is. I think that's another thing. I've always been really honest to everybody that I meet, and a lot of people don't like it. You know, a lot of people didn't like me in the army either, or they just heard rumors about me and they just stayed away. The
Yeah.
rumors were all true. I never deny a rumor. It's true because I want them to be afraid. That's not the people that I want around me. If people don't talk to me right now because they think, oh, Pauline is in Dubai, she's probably cheating. Yes, think whatever the fuck you want. Don't even give me the opportunity. Put that in your head because a lot of people make an assumption of you without even trying to know you. How many people you don't think judge you that didn't know you at work or when you were through that, and they didn't even give you the chance to be friends after that or stay in contact, or we're like,
Yeah.
maybe I don't want to.
Like, oh, she failed. Like,
Exactly,
she
she's
sucks.
a failure, right?
Yep, she a failure. Loser. Like,
And
okay.
they didn't even want to be your friend, and boom, guess who just had her ceremony? My girl. And I torture her. Tell everybody I torture her. I acted. I really wanted to surprise her, and I was gonna get with maracas and balloons. I said I'm not gonna make a scene. Try not to cause a scene, but I still wanted to surprise you. I never confirmed that I was going, but I had put the PTO the second you invited me because it meant so much for you. It could have been your whatever E5 ceremony. It's just an honor to me to see you accomplish things, mostly after you feeling like a failure. There's nothing worse than feeling like a failure and not having anybody to keep moving forward. So very proud of you for still pushing. I don't know how this came up, but it was the perfect bounce back, don't you think?
Yeah, yeah, it was, honestly.
Self-esteem boost.
Yeah, it was. It really just showed me like I'm where I'm meant to be. Really, like honestly. A lot of people ask me, "Oh, are you gonna go back?" No, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back.
We did it. Right, we learned. Fool me once, fool me twice. There be no three times. We're Latinas, for the love of God.
Yeah, so
Don't fuck around three times.
no, I'm good. I'm good.
I mean, proud of you for trying the second time. See, if you would have took me on those rounds, maybe I would have just made you worse. Derek was so concerned for my health and safety.
He's like,
He's
"What is
like,
going
"No, you're not going. Fucking nuts." I said, "Derek, I could do anything for my friends." He's like, "Yeah, that's why I'm concerned that you'll be calling me from the urgent care, que te caíste, and you passed out, dehydrated." He was so worried about he's gonna call me in 5 minutes, te vas a caer, you're not gonna make it, all in English. He's like, "You're not gonna survive, you're gonna die." He was so
on?"
he thinks I'm really out of shape if I can't run at
Oh
all.
my goodness.
And then this enemy tried to invite me to a running group too. Con las white
Fun.
chickens. Con las white chickens, aparte de todo, que no soporto. No te creas, sí las conozco. Um, proud of you for joining a Latino running club. I'd rather join the Miami Brickle running club personally.
I know you've seen the post too. I need to go there too.
Yes,
It looks like
I
a
want
great
to go
time.
there. I just join just anything.
They look like they have really good views.
Really good view. I had to have some motivation. My husband knows I go to the gym to see the puppies. That's it. And the hot girls. They're all hot.
To be fair, they're probably all toxicos anyways, so.
The hotter, the worse. We know this. And here in the South, being married does not matter. Clearly.
Yeah,
To
obviously.
no one. I bet. I mean, I don't know. I need to come to your gym now and maybe do a little pop up with my GES.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to close our episode, Lonnie, do you have any advice for women, not only on the military, just in their, I don't know if you have other friends besides me, because we were military friends first, but other friends that are not in the army, female, that are good close. Do you have
Yeah.
good friendships outside the military
So
and in the military?
yeah, I remember when I was young and I used to say things like, I don't have female friends because female friends are drama. All my friends are guys because, I'm just a guy's girl because I did grow up with two brothers. So I was, a little bit tomboyish. But you know what? There is something to be said about like pure female friendships. Like to have just a group of women that, again, you can go to for advice, that understand you, understand what you're going through, that are not judgmental. Honestly, like seek those out. I think it's, man, it's so important. Honestly, it really is. It's helped me through so much. There is so many experiences we as women have to face that men just will never understand, honestly. And yeah, it's good to have, people who can be your sounding board and can tell you like, hey, I've been through that too and you're not alone. That's the biggest piece of advice I can offer. Like if you, are that woman who thinks that women friendships are just full of drama, I promise there's like women out there who are like-minded like you that you can find and get, develop those friendships with. It's just, I can't even speak about how important it has been, for me, honestly, especially in this last year or two.
No, and that's why I created the Good Energy Squad, because I did not have a group of friends, and I see it at the gym all the time. The girls are tearing each other apart, and at that 5 a.m. in the morning, if you don't fucking say good morning to me, we're gonna have a problem. You're not gonna roll your eyes. You're not gonna judge my outfit. Women needs to stop tearing each other apart. It's not a competition. It's not, girls. I'm not competing against you. You're not me. I'm not gonna be you. I'm never gonna be Lonnie. She's really up here. Like, let's be realistic. Like, this is the number one advice for female. We all glow and shine in our own way. And we have to be together so we can shine brighter. We all have so much to bring to the table, but in different ways. And I feel like the first step on a friendship is to, like, I immediately say, no, that girl stronger than me. Once you accept somebody does something better than you, you're in the right spot, because females always want to be better. Why? I don't gotta be the strongest. I don't gotta be in the army to be cool.
Yeah.
She already got that. You got that coolness. How proud I am of you. I'm like, oh, my friend just made. I want you to get that spotlight. It's not my accomplishment. Why what I'm doing is gonna take away from what you're doing.
We can support each other.
Yeah, and you're very mature, because I realize it. Thank you for bringing me back to our old friend from the medic back on 2012. We were never friends, but it's crazy how you also kept that friendship. Are we the only two from
No,
Savannah that you're
I still keep in contact. One of my closest friends too. Me and her have been friends, since that time too. So I've definitely tried to maintain like female friendships from each phase that I've been in my,
right?
military career, because they're all so important to me. Honestly, they really are.
No, and I was really happy that I got to see our friend Alexis. If you're listening, I went to California and she picked me up. It was like we picked right up. I was just happy to see her, and again, she's living another life, another state, but we could still rekindle.
Mm-hmm.
What is your plans, Lonnie? I'm trying to pick your brain.
For what, the future?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm gonna retire in 6 years, hopefully.
Oh,
And after that, you know what I've been thinking about? I've been thinking about when I finally do retire, just taking my little retirement check and just traveling the world, like spending. That's my dream, honestly, is to just retire and not own a house, property, anything. Just hop around from country to country. Oh, I want to spend 30 days in Italy. Here we go. I want to spend 30 days here. Here we go.
a buddy? You need a buddy? I'll be 50. Vamos. I'll be 50 with my cane. I love to travel. Please take me as your plus one. I'll
Yeah.
eat your leftovers.
Me and Oliver.
Yeah, take. I'll eat the dog food. I just want to travel.
Yeah,
That
that's really,
sounds like a plan. I mean, I'm not gonna have kids, so just take me.
yeah.
That's really good plans, my friend.
Yeah, we'll
But
see.
we'll
Life
see.
changes so fast.
You can't plan. That's another thing people don't understand. You can't plan too far out. Let's just go by the week. And I'm super excited because what do I need to do? We're gonna go.
Okay, I'm gonna send you
Lonnie's
the.
taking me to my first Pilates in my life.
So, in combination with running and lifting,
Yes.
I am in my Pilates princess era. So, I have really fallen in love with Pilates. I will tell you, I use it as like core and
Yoga.
mobility kind of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I love it, and I've been going now since February, I think. So I will send you the link, and then we can sign up for your first intro class. I'm so excited.
And we're gonna record it. And I actually know the owner, and apparently the teacher knows me too, right? She told you.
Or one of the girls that works there. She's the one who like checks people in. She's like, "Oh, I saw you on Pauline's story," and I was like, "Oh,
See, they already know me. Whoop whoop.
okay."
They're gonna be like, "You're out, man. You're not." I'm gonna get on the Pilates, and the minute I start twerking on that table, I'm gonna get a big tip. She's risking to take me. I'm 1000% twerking, but hopefully I survive.
It'll be
But
fun.
I'm scared.
At least it's not a run.
True. Well, I just hope that all our vibrators are charged for tonight. It is Friday night.
Friday night at home
I was
after
very
work.
worried with the hurricane. I had to get extra batteries.
I had to charge up all of them.
Latinas, we're calientes. Que se jodan. Yo, mira, estos dos, siempre. There's not one Latina, and I don't care if you don't speak Spanish or ever been to Mexico or Puerto Rico or any country in Latin America in your life. If you are some type of blood relative or poquito cross in your grandpa's were, you're caliente. You're always horny. It's in our genes. That's why no man can keep up with us. That's why I disabled Derek. It's me.
Yeah, that's the reason.
I'm the cause of the PTSD and the back injury. Sorry, VA. You already gave him 100%. It was me. I should be paying that man disability.
Service connected.
And legs connected. Thank you so much for joining us today, my friend. Did you
Thank
had a
you
good
for
time
having
here
me.
with
Yeah,
the
I had
vibrators?
fun. This is fun. I like it.
I just wanted to create a space where we're all uplifting each other and going through the roller coaster that is life. And
Yeah.
who knows, right? We're not saying, "Woo, it goes up from here." I'm not delusional. We know we're gonna have. I mean, a little bit, but I'm not high anymore. I'm just saying we're gonna face some difficulties every day in life at work. I'm sure we're all both gonna have struggles, but as long as we stay true to yourself and believe in yourself and love yourself for who you truly are, you're always gonna be okay. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
Say bye, Devin.